Hello and welcome to Coconut Chats, everyone. Today you've got me, Harita, and I'm joined with Shomita. How are you going, Shomita?
I'm good, Harita. How are you?
I'm good, even though it's kind of late, but that's all good. That's what happens when you're working with three different time zones. Um, so today we've got a guest from India, hence the third time zone. Some of you might have seen him in a couple of TV shows. One is Masaba Masaba, which he was in a couple of years ago. Arman Kiara is a global citizen, born and raised in New Delhi, raised in New York, and a graduate from university in New Zealand. He has been traveling between LA and Bombay, carrying a career in passion for music, movies, modeling, and voiceovers. He's best known for his roles as Fateh in Masaba Masaba on Netflix and Jussie in Taish on Z5. He writes and produces hip hop for his catalogue, played the English voice of Buddha on MX Player, and models for international brands such as Uniqlo. I obviously know him because we actually went to university together when he lived in Wellington. So it's pretty cool to be friends with an upcoming Bollywood celebrity. Welcome, Arman. How are you?
How's it going? I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, we've been meaning to do this interview for like 2 years, and then for different reasons, we've had to postpone, or he's had to postpone, and it's taken ages to finally do this, but that's all good. Here we are.
Yeah, here we
um,
are. And thank you, Coconut Chats, for having the patience to reschedule countless times.
yeah. So, first things first, I guess, getting into Bollywood is hard enough, but why did you decide on becoming an actor, and what type of journey have you taken to get to the point that you're at now?
Okay, I'll be honest here. I've always wanted to be an actor ever since I was uh, quite young. I mean, I think ever since I heard like Shah Rukh Khan songs and all the Bollywood songs that I danced to and stuff like that. I'm talking about when I was like 1 or 2 years old. Apparently, I was really good with lyrics even when I was one. So I always wanted to be an actor. I always gravitated towards the craft, not the craft, but I guess the magic of cinema. I was always like attracted to it. But then, as you grow older, like everybody has an opinion of what you should do, and sometimes you take certain people's opinions more seriously than others. Some of them include your parents' opinions, or your sisters, or anybody that's close to you and you respect. So as a result, what happened is I got influenced, right? Like, I mean, because an actor needs to have money, or an actor needs to have connections, or an actor needs to have this, and that. Things that I was like, wow, I'm quite far away from. And because of that, I was like, you know what? All right, my mom says it's better to be a lawyer, so I'm gonna go try study law. When I met Harita, I was studying business, because that was the option that I thought would be best suited for my life. But the truth is that I always wanted to be an actor, and even I just never gave myself the chance. I allowed myself to get influenced. Otherwise, uh, I would have already started acting when I was probably 13 or 14. And yeah, but there are two very, very significant instances, which I'm sorry, I will have to include in my answer. I know it's a long answer, but
Of
please
course.
bear with me. The first significant instance was when I was in boarding school. I was about 16 years old, 15 or 16 years old. This is before New Zealand. And I had a teacher, Miss Rama Sahidal, and she beautiful teacher. Like she was just very calm, composed, and very intelligent. So she was doing a play. She was an amazing playwright, and she was doing a play in which she asked me to play the lead, and nobody ever worked with me before because I was fresh from New York. I used to talk back to teachers, which they don't like in India. Can't talk back to your teacher. You can't have an opinion. So because I was very opinionated and very like self-assured that, I mean, I think what I'm saying makes sense. They didn't like that. So when she went to the staff room, she told everybody, "Hey, so Arman's going to be the lead of my play," and everyone was like, "Oh, that's a pretty bad idea. I mean, it's like you're gonna have it's gonna be challenging, like to work with him because he always has an opinion." And so, but she was like, you know what? Like, she didn't listen to them. She didn't say anything back, but she was like, well, I've chosen him and we'll see how it goes. Just so happens that I got Best Actor for that very play, and I was chosen to do the school play as well, like which was actually for our for Founders Day. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's the main play that all the parents and everybody like comes to see. So interesting, like yeah, that when I got that Best Actor award, I knew somewhere inside that, hey man, I'm made for this. Like there's nothing that can ever stop me like to be able to like be good at this. And the second thing is in it's actually thanks to New Zealand, thanks to Wellington, because I had met so many people in Wellington and I grew as a soul over there. It's funny, but a lot of people, even though I was making music, always had this feeling that I should act. Do you know what I'm saying? And because music gave me the confidence to pursue art, in its entirety, New Zealand actually gave me the confidence that, hey, I should be an actor. I mean, there was, and I'm not being up myself here, but like, I'm not trying to talk like about myself or whatever, but I got a lot of compliments of how like good looking I was. I know this is not a very normal thing to say. I'm not, I don't hold any sense of pride as to, oh, wow, like I'm very good looking. That's just a blessing from the universe and it's all thanks to mom and dad because they're extremely good looking. But because New Zealand recognized it, New Zealand was the first place to recognize that, uh, hey, I'm really good looking and I also have a great presence. That gave me the confidence to finally make that decision to pursue acting as a career when it came forth, like in my life.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I had some other questions, but since I would just like to pick up one from what you said right now. Yeah, you
Yeah, please.
mentioned that the confidence that people gave you that yes, you are good looking, so that gave you more confidence to pursue the career in acting. So do you
Uh,
think?
good looking and the presence and the
Yeah,
presence.
yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
sure, sure. Yeah, presence, of course. Yeah, so so you do think that it requires it needs to be good looking in order to have a good career in acting, is it?
No, I don't believe so. I feel like there are such brilliant actors that are not necessarily
Exactly.
good looking,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
because and that's why I had to mention presence. It's a very important thing because their confidence and their presence makes them so good looking. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly.
And it's beautiful how they both go hand in hand when it comes to something like acting, like being present in the character and actually telling the truth. Like because everybody has this perception that acting is lying, but that's what we were taught in acting school, that it's not lying. It's
You have to
telling the
feel it.
truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, telling the truth through a character's perspective. And so presence, and yeah, I mean, yeah, good looks will get you as far as modeling and stuff like that, but good looks can't make you an amazing actor.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thanks for that. Yeah. So you did mention that you grew up in USA. So why choose Bollywood? How difficult was it to get into Hollywood, or did you even try? How was the
No,
journey?
I did actually. So I was in between LA and Mumbai for the past 10 years. So I was auditioning in both. I was making music in both cities, voiceovers, modeling, whatever I could do, I was trying to do. It's just that India gave me initially gave me my first show,
Okay.
when I came to Bollywood. It gave me my first show, which was Everest by Ashutosh Gwadekar. It
Mhm.
was a big show on Star Plus, and thankfully, like that was I scored that, and that really was the green light from the universe saying that, hey man, like this, like you've chosen the right path. You should keep acting. Um, and then I think when I was in LA, I was doing work. I was at acting school for a year, and then I got my O1 visa, which is a work visa, for actors, athletes, and stuff. So
Yeah.
once I was sorted, like I was settled in Hollywood, I had this chance to go back and forth. And then one of those times I was in Mumbai and I auditioned for a part which was Jussie in Tesh,
Mhm.
which you guys mentioned in the bio as well. So
Yeah.
Jussie was playing Jussie in my first film. That gave me this, that opened the door to Bollywood like completely. I signed to an agency. I was, yeah, I was there, you know, and then Masaba Masaba eventually came. And there's a whole heap of projects. There's about 10 or 15 projects that I shot after Masaba Masaba.
Mhm.
Uh, five of which have released, but I'm still waiting on the 10. So yeah. Does that answer your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
So, like, we've mentioned that you've lived in 3 different countries at different parts of your life. Um, and, you know, you're in India at the moment, but I guess between the 3 countries you've lived in, which one was your favorite and why? Do you even have a favorite?
Uh, you know, there's something about New Zealand, you know. I really have I think I have a very deep love for New Zealand. I think, as I've said before, like that's where my soul grew. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people get it wrong on the internet. Like, you know, they whenever they introduce me, like in Wikipedia or whatever, they'll be like an Indian Kiwi actor. And honestly, I have no problem with it. Even though I wasn't born in New Zealand, I've
Yeah.
only spent 3 years there. But it's nice to be acknowledged as an Indian Kiwi actor instead of an Indian American, like or whatever else, like they could have said. But I feel like I have a lot of love for New Zealand, and I haven't been there for the past 11 years. But I feel like when I left New Zealand, I had promised myself that I'd come back uh, after, you know, like actually taking over the world. And, you know, it's because that honestly, that became home. And I think that will always be home for me. Uh, but honestly, I really do love India. Like I left it was easy for me to leave New Zealand because I wanted to be closer to my family, you know, and they're all in India. I left LA as well easily because I don't know. I mean, I guess because I was born here. This is always going to be like the place that I'm most comfortable, like in. I'm definitely most comfortable in India, but I have a very deep love for New Zealand, and I will come back someday and you know surprise all of you one day. Just start walking on Courtney Place, you know, and just keep walking, bump into everybody.
Yeah.
Yep. You mentioned you are already working on a lot of projects. So tell us something about your work that's ongoing and what we can expect next coming.
All right, so I have a pretty big show coming up, actually, guys. I'm supposed to talk about it much, so I won't tell you what it's about.
Mhm.
I also got in trouble for actually mentioning it in a previous interview. But you guys know Aryan Khan, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so Aryan Khan's directorial debut is going to be out sometime, I believe, end of this year or next year, and that's definitely going to be a game changer, you know, for just for him, I guess in general because of what he's been
Yeah,
through,
yeah.
and also a game changer for just the content that we have because I feel like he's done a fabulous job on it, you know?
Okay.
And yeah, he's done a great job, and I feel like he's one of the greatest directors we have in the country.
Wow.
So I would say that you all are going to be very happy with what he's producing right
We're
Mm.
looking
now. I didn't,
forward to it. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
You're not just
Sorry.
saying that, you're not just saying that because you're in the movie, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I actually love Aryan. I mean, I think he's one of the coolest directors, one of the coolest people I've ever worked with. But at the same time, like he's very focused. Like I actually have proper characteristics that I can describe him as, which would assist in, you know, proving that I'm not just saying this because of the film, but no, it's because I'm in it. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is he's very focused. He's very present. You know, he knows what he wants. He's not just sitting there on his phone, like, you know what I'm saying, like
Oh,
messing around. He's
yeah.
paying attention to the scene. He's actually seeing what could be better. And the best part about Adin is that if he's trying to give you direction,
Mhm.
all right, he will act like your character. and be like, I want it this way. Not a lot of directors do that, which made me believe that Aryan is actually a brilliant actor. Like he's probably even better than his dad. Like I'm not kidding when I say that. Like the way his expressions, his micro expressions even are so on point that I'm praying to see him on screen one day, straight up, because I know he's just gonna like annihilate everybody else.
Yeah, I think many people are looking forward to seeing him on screen, actually. People
Yeah, I
want to
mean,
see him on
he's
screen. Yeah.
beautiful, you know?
Yeah,
Guys,
yeah.
love seeing. I just love looking at him. Like, damn, like, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so kind of surprised that he didn't get into acting, right? Because that's what most of the actors' kids do.
You know what? Well, what I heard in an interview that, oh, actually, it's in the David Letterman interview with Shah Rukh Khan. Did you guys see that one?
No.
So he tells David that he's like, you know, I mean, I asked my son if he wants to get into acting, and he said no. And then he's like, and then Shah Rukh Khan asks him, he's like, why? And he's like, well, if I'm good, then they'll say that it's because I'm your son that I'm good.
Mhm.
No? And if I'm bad, then they'll be like, oh, look what he's doing to his father's image. So either way, I can't win. So I might as well go for something that I can actually, you know, create a name for myself in, which is very smart, you know.
Yeah, that's good thinking.
It's very smart. I feel like, I mean, even if he excels in direction, then he can even go and do a movie like as an actor, and you know, it's going to be much appreciated.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah. So with like you've played quite a few different roles up till now. Tell us about like a role that you've played that you feel is the closest to the real you.
Closest to the real me. Hmm. Well, I think there's definitely parts of characters that I felt were very, very close to me. Like in Masaba Masaba, I'll tell you what, like Fateh, the excitement that Fateh had, the energy, the excitement that he had when he would walk into the room and stuff like that. That's very, I feel like that's very similar to, you know, what I have as well. Not what he did in the end. I don't do that, but like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and Jesse and Tesh, like he's just a very like he just you know like he loves hip hop, he loves the culture, and so he embodies the culture. And I feel like I've over the years I've embodied the culture, so that was very easy for me to like bring about in that character. I feel like there's just different parts of each character, like Taj. So in Taj, I'm playing Mohabbat Khan, who is like Salim's like right hand. He's very serious. There's literally no emotion on this guy's face except for intense, fresh, like not even like it's anger. This guy's just always angry. So even that, there's times in my life where I am just expression, you know? Um, and it's hard to believe for the people around me because they know me to have expression and to communicate through my expression completely. But then there are times where I'm like Mohabbat Khan and I'm just literally like plain, freaking poker face. Like, you know, you can't say anything to make me laugh.
Yeah. So, if we come back to your character in Masaba, so that depicts a young man who is unsure of his decision and a few days prior to his getting married. And in your opinion, do you think that this character is the character arc has been developed as a deliberate attempt to mimic what is happening in the real world these days?
Mm. Like with guys being fuckboys? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, I guess. Well, I do sense there's something to this, you know, and great question by the way, because I feel like we don't respect each other as genders enough, and that's all genders included. I don't feel like we're trying to understand like what the other gender is actually likes or is expecting. Does that make sense? You know, like I feel like we see what we want. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, predominantly when I meet males, I see that they are extremely horny. You know what I'm saying? Especially the straight ones. Actually, even the gay, even like a man who's gay is actually very, very horny. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's I feel like naturally, like males are that way, but then that doesn't, I don't know, give us the right to get into into like our the opposite gender space. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I
Mm.
feel like it's important for us to understand that maybe women don't like that and we should act accordingly. Now if a woman does enjoy that, I feel like she will give the she'll give enough signs to indicate
Mm.
that okay, she likes that. But I feel like there's a now, I mean, we've come to a point, and we're living in such a time where it would really benefit all of us if we were to actually take the time out to understand the opposite gender and what they expect and what is allowed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
does that
Mm. And
so?
actually, you said it very nicely. Yeah.
Yeah,
It has to come from the both ends. Yeah.
Mm. And
yeah,
also, like
you
these days, and also in Indian culture, men normally get away with a lot more than women do, right? Which is kind of depicted in that TV show as well. That if a man doesn't want to get married or if he wants to play the field or whatever, it's okay. But if a woman does it, then society looks at it completely differently.
Yeah. Well, I think we're getting better at that now. Like,
Mm.
Yeah.
India is definitely getting better at that.
Mm.
At looking at being, in a way, kind of like not judging women for having this individuality, which is crazy that it's taken this long. Um, but yeah, I think we're more. I think society has become more forgiving. Um, and it's beautiful because remember at the time that Nina Gupta had Masaba, right? Like when she had her child, like everybody was so like judgmental about it because she wasn't
Mm.
married
Yeah.
and she had a child. And I feel like from then and now there has been significant progress in how forgiving society is,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially
Mm.
for
Mm.
so, and also it's a great thing that women have also, taken a stand to speak up for themselves. And women have actually come very far in making sure that they get something out of this cake. So, thankfully women are, and they're still like going through the challenges of making it known that they much and stuff like that, especially in countries like these.
Yeah.
Mm. So, on the topic of Nina Gupta, what is it like working with someone like her who's been in the industry for so many years? And on top of that, when you're working with a real life mother daughter combination, like, do you have to work around the dynamic they already have, or is it easy for you to just fit into their casting crew?
Okay, very nice question. With Nina Gupta, I feel like when you're working with a legend, you automatically feel like your dreams come true. Your dream has come true. You know what I'm saying? Like because you see Nina when you're like 10 years old, you see her in this old film, and you're like, oh wow, like she's beautiful and she acts so well and she's so good at what she does. And then 15 years later, you're actually acting with her, you know? And that's I mean, it's surreal. Because it's funny, like you'll see celebrities here, especially on set, and they look just the same. They look exactly how they look on screen. And it's kind of like, oh, well, it's like, you have this feeling that you've always known them.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah. Mm.
it's a very interesting feeling. Like, I don't know how to describe it exactly, but
Make you feel
seeing,
at home.
yeah, you kind of feel at home, especially when you love what you're doing and you've always wanted to do it. And when you love and when you've always wanted to do it and you have that faith that one day you'll do it, seeing them in the flesh, in person, is just confirms that, like, that, oh yeah, like this was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So seeing Nina, being around her, working with her was definitely a dream come true. And working with Masaba and Nina both well, they're both so professional just in their very natures that it didn't even feel like they were mother and daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like they're actually treating each other like co-actors. And they're not, they're just there's no unnecessary like conversation or unnecessary behavior between both of them. And when I say unnecessary, like kind of like, public displays of affection, a family
Right.
affection, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Mm.
So
That's
that would
very
be
impressive. Yeah.
PDFA, public display of family affection. Yeah. So none of that. They're very professional, they're very chill, and they're very down to earth as well. So very easy to talk to.
Mhm. As we are already on the woman topic, so Masaba was written and directed by ladies. So, in your opinion, does the social narrative of a script change when it is helmed by a woman? And if so, then how?
Great question. I feel like we can go back and forth on this like all day. Do you know what I'm saying? Because definitely I feel like it would definitely influence like the script, but not in like a bad way or anything. I
Yeah.
just feel um it's it becomes informative, especially to males. Do you know what I mean here? Like it becomes informative for males as to what uh like we said, that something that isn't acceptable, a lot of men are not aware of that. Like they'll
Right.
just go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then with something like Masaba Masaba,
Mm.
you are, because of the information contained in the series, you are able, like a man is able to see what is expected and what is not, and what is not wanted, like
Mhm.
as a person. So I feel like it influences our audiences definitely in a very good way. As far as like there's certain things that I don't think make a difference, like seeing and feeling Masaba's ambition and her emotions as a human being. Like I don't think a male or a female, it doesn't matter who would have directed something like that. I feel like that is just a very individualistic, a very human experience that only one that would have experienced it themselves or would have had a good team that has had that kind of experience would be able to portray in the series. So there are certain things that a woman writing it or a team of women writing it have actually made the difference too. But then there are things that wouldn't have actually.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why
So,
we would go back and forth all day with
yeah.
something like this.
Yeah. So you're saying that so if it is coming from a woman, so it is more informative for you, and like as in men in general, that okay, you are not only playing a part in the movie or in the show, but you are also learning as a human what is expected out of you. So that's a bonus, right?
That's awesome. Yeah, because
Yeah.
when I watched the first season of Masaba Masaba, I was like, oh wow, girls like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had this kind of like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, maybe adjust myself accordingly or something.
Yeah.
It's
Mm.
cool.
Yeah,
So
it's actually good to know that in the acting crew as well, it is impacting that much, because as an audience we can see that yeah, definitely when something like these kind of shows come out, it's more of like informative, and it's like a lesson, a good lesson for the audience at large. So yeah,
oh,
it's good that within the team as well, people are developing. Yeah.
most definitely,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
most definitely.
And I feel like, especially in India, right, it was probably a show that was a bit different to the typical shows that were out there, because it was kind of it was pretty much based on her real life, right, with a bit of exaggeration here and there. But the fact, like, especially in season one, like she was going through a divorce, and they highlighted the fact that her mum, Nina Gupta, was a single mother, and, all the things that in India are typically looked at as like bad. And a lot of people probably thought it was really good a show like that came out, because it's finally like highlighting a lot of the issues that Indian people don't like to talk about. And And I feel like when I watched it here, like a lot of people really liked it because, you know, it was outside of the all happy story, happy ending type of TV show. It was more like in line with what actually happens in people's lives. And I feel like that's why it was really successful. I don't know so much about India, but I know like in the Western world, that's in a lot of Western countries, that's what a lot of people said about it.
Yeah, exactly. Because most of the movies, I agree with that. Most of the movies and the things that like have that people dancing on tables and you know what I'm saying, just rejoicing that life is just perfect. And you know, even if there is like a problem, it's okay. The guy will come beat up 10 people and we'll be all good, you know?
Mm.
So it's beautiful to see, beautiful to have such content present to the world that is so much more realistic and so much more like, you know, something more relatable. So
Mm.
yeah.
So, on to some of your other work. Tell us about your cameo in Gala and how did it feel like to be in the same movie with Rajnikant?
Oh, that was awesome. I didn't know Rajnikant was in it. Was he? I knew Shakti Kapoor was in it, but I didn't know that. We probably had. It's because it's such a,
Probably in different scenes.
it was a huge team. That
Oh,
There's one thing you guys will know about me in time. You know, I'm very lost. Like as an actor, I'm just so like I'm always running from one thing to the other, and even in Kalki, I had no clue that I was in Kalki, guys. And then 3 days ago, it's all over my Instagram. They're like, "Oh, bro, I saw you in Kalki. Why didn't you tell me you were in this film?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know I was in it." You know. And until I saw the scene, I'm like, "Oh shit, that's right. I went to Hyderabad last year for one day to shoot two scenes, which are in this film, like which is a massive film. Like
yeah.
it's huge right now in India, and everyone's going to watch it, and everyone's telling me, "Hey, saw you in Kalki." Like people that I haven't seen in 10 years, you know, or haven't talked to online for 10 years. Like, bro, I saw you in Kalki. Wow, amazing, great to see you. And I'm like, that's cool, you know. That's the position you want to be in, right? Like you're just working enough
Mm.
to
Do
know
not
that
remember. Yeah.
and then you just keep going, keep going, keep going until something just pops up, and you're like, wow, that just made my day.
Yep. 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 As we already talked about Kalki, I will just move on to the next one. So, coming back to nepotism in Bollywood. So
Yeah,
you already gave us quite like an elaborate answer that you are quite impressed by Aryan Khan and you actually like him. But apart from that, like, do you really think that nepotism does exist and it's much easier for star kids to get into? And how much nepotism impacts newcomers who doesn't know anybody, people like you? Yeah.
yeah. So I'll be honest, guys. What what makes it easier for someone to get into in a room that they need to be in? Do you know what I'm saying? It's
Mm.
honestly the same
Mm.
every. If we're talking about nepotism in this industry, there's nepotism in every industry. You know what I'm saying? And that's something you can't really combat. Because let's say your father is this massive like, you know, tycoon who can, you know, who give me an example, guys. Give me some industry. Give me an industry. Let's talk
Probably
about
like the Ambanis in India. That's an
boom.
example, right? Mm.
Perfect. Okay, now we have the Ambanis in India, right? Now, let's say the Ambani son is very interested in getting into the engineering department for aircraft, right?
Mm.
Boom. How easy is it for somebody to get into the room? Like for Ambani, it's very easy. And I feel like within this industry, if your father is a huge star, how easy is it for him to get you in a room with a director that he knows for the past 20 years? Like, I feel like it is definite. I feel like people we don't like it as much because it's such a it's an art. We don't like it here that much, but it's everywhere, guys. Like let's
Hmm.
be honest. If it's
Mm.
easier, if there's a way to get into the room that's easier than the other one, you're gonna be, and
Yeah.
everyone's gonna do everything in their power to get you into that room. Um,
Yeah.
but I'll be honest, the audience and the world as a whole is the heart of their like has the audience has a heart of their, you know
Mm.
what I'm saying? And so people that are genuinely good actors are widely, and people that are not good actors, you should hear people talk about them. It's hilarious. Like, it's just it's way too much. Like, so nobody's stupid, right? Everybody recognizes what's a good actor and
Yeah.
what's not a good. And no matter how much nepotism spreads, and no matter how many star kids become famous, the better actor will always be the best actor. Like, so, and they will eventually, if not now, will be recognized. And I feel like that all goes to having faith in the universe and having faith in yourself. If you are in the race, then you will get your place. You will find.
Mm.
Who is your favorite actor?
Oh, don't be asking me questions like that. Um, I don't really have a favorite actor. I'm not gonna lie. When I was different, like my phases of life, that we,
Yeah.
I could say somewhat obsessed with some or the other. But
Mm.
it all started with Shah Rukh Khan, guys. It all started with Shah Rukh Khan. So to be an audience show is like one of the most beautiful things that I've experienced in my life,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm.
definitely. But I'm sorry, I actually don't have any
Okay. Okay.
unique.
You were just being
He
diplomatic.
probably
Everybody
has
has
to
a
say
favorite.
that, otherwise they won't want to work with him, right? If they're not his
Yeah.
favorite.
He's just being diplomatic. Yeah. Everybody has a favorite. That's fine.
Oh, come on, guys. No, actually, I don't. How about you guys tell me who are your?
I love Salman. Yeah.
Oh no, I
Oh,
don't
you
like
love Khan.
Yeah, I
You're
love
good.
I
Salman.
don't like him at all. But anyway, he's my least favorite. Um, so like as well as acting, you're obviously doing modeling and you've done quite a lot of singing alongside the acting career. How are they going for you? Like, are they as successful in India, or did you have more success with them outside of India? And do those industries have similar challenges to the acting industry?
Um, so with music has been with me since New Zealand. A lot of my boys in New Zealand were making music backyard, and so I started making music with them. We started releasing music. Music gradually became like my wife. Like when I started to pursue acting, music is that one thing that kept me patient throughout my acting journey, because I've been rejected like a million times. Or I've gone for auditions and interviews and I've just like never got what I set out for. But then I'd always come home and I'd have music always there. So that's why I refer to her as like my wife. So she gradually became that thing for me, that person for me who I could spend time with. I could express myself to. And wow, this is the first time I've actually described music that way. Thank you, Coconut Chats. Your energy has brought about some poetic, revelations. But you see, like music has kept me patient and I love it. I love it. I haven't released much music in the past 10 years, but because of that, I have been able to perfect my craft. And now I've come to a point where I've literally 2 months ago signed with a label, and they're connecting me to artists around the world that I'm going to be collaborating with and releasing music with as well. I feel like it's the perfect time because I needed 10 years, for music. I needed 10 years to be comfortable, to write to anything, to produce the kind of music that I wanted. It took time, and I'm glad that we're finally, on a roll with it. And Harita probably knows I've been releasing quite a bit of music this past month. I've sent you 3 videos so far,
Yeah.
three songs that we released in the last week. So this you've actually seen the kickoff. Do you know what I'm saying? You're experiencing the kickoff right. This is now after not releasing for so long. Now we're going to be releasing like break. So I'm yet to experience the music industry. I'll be honest. I can't speak for like, I can't say, oh, it's like the acting industry because I haven't given it my 100%. But now finally I am, and in the next interview we have, I'll answer that question better. But voiceovers is going good, guys. Like I do voiceovers like on a regular. I do probably at least 1 or 2 voiceovers a month, and that's why I deemed it like important to mention that I was playing the voice of Buddha on a show that released 10 years ago, and it's been on player. But then South America had demanded this show in English. So I played Buddha, which was for like 55, 60 episodes of playing this guy. And that was the first major part I got as a voiceover artist. Otherwise, I've done ads. I've done TVS, I've done Maruti Suzuki, I've done Puma, I've done a whole bunch of like ads and corporate videos, stuff like that. Modeling also just kicked off last year. So Uniqlo, Mintra, there's a few brands, the Soul Store, like all of these. This is like the starting of my modeling. I've literally just been focused on acting ever since I left music.
Okay. How was the experience of playing voiceover as Buddha?
Oh my God, like that. I feel.
Did you feel felt enlightened?
Do you see the smile on my face when you ask me that?
You look pretty peaceful. Yeah.
Oh
Is this
God.
from there?
I think that was one of my most favorite projects because
Okay.
I learn something every day. I think every 2 minutes, like while we were in the studio recording, I think I learned something throughout. Like I was so sad, like on the last day of playing Buddha, because I was like, oh my God, I was literally getting paid, you know, getting paid to receive wisdom. Like,
That's a
I
lovely.
was,
Yeah.
I, it's amazing. Like, and I was forced because they were like, okay, this is your work day. Be here at this time. 8 hours later, you can go home. And man, to this day, I miss it. I miss playing Buddha. Like I could play Buddha for the rest of my life, straight up, because so much that this guy given to our world, he's given to our universe. And like anybody that's anybody who is even alive, at least get a glimpse of what he's done for us as a race, as not a race, sorry, as a species. But yeah, Buddha is beautiful. He's beautiful, and his mind, his soul, his heart.
So,
That's awesome.
what is say what tell us something like you want to do this role, like your dream of doing something, for example, maybe working with someone you consider as a very you put on a very high pedestal as an actor, or what is where you see yourself in in next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, when it comes to acting, there's nobody in particular that I'm kind of dreaming of working with. But when it comes to acting, I feel like I just want to be I want to be a working actor. I would like to be on set for 300 days out of the 365, and I want to be on set. I want to be working. I want to be exploring this craft as much as possible. In 5 years' time, I will be in the studio with Kendrick Lamar, like recording, like, you know what I'm saying? That's for music, and for voiceovers. I feel like I want to be at least the voice of India in 5 years, and then 10 years I can be the voice of the world, you know?
Yeah.
And then modeling Modeling, I feel like modeling is I don't really have goals for modeling. I feel like the great thing that I love about modeling is that it keeps me fit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it motivates you to keep fit and eat healthy. So I would like to stick to modeling just for the fact that it keeps me fit and it makes me eat healthy, which I think, is the best that something like a career can do for you is, to keep your mental, physical state like
Yeah.
at its peak always.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And one another thing, yeah, before Harita wraps up. Yeah. So tell us something about your like daily routine, what you do to keep yourself fit.
Well, guys, it starts with a lot of water. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about 1 or 1.5 liter of water for sure. Um, then depending on how I'm feeling, I will incorporate something that's good for my mental state, whether that's yoga or meditation. And
Mhm.
then after which, well, I have recently injured my shoulder, so I'm unable to go to the gym how I used to. So I used to do everything: chest, shoulders, legs, arms, everything, all of that. Like I was a proper like what do they call them? Like what do they call them? Gym sharks or like guys who go to the gym every day. But thankfully, because it's actually a blessing that now my shoulder needs some time to heal because I am going crazy with cardio. Like I'm running almost every second. I'm going for a nice 1 hour run, and then I'm working on my core, and I'm just doing physio. So it's just very, very normal. Uh, I mean, now pair this with yoga and meditation. I think that's enough, guys. Like,
Yeah. You pretty much said you are doing pretty much everything to keep yourself
a little
fit.
bit of a little bit of everything.
Yeah, okay.
And so when I met Harita for the first time, I used to eat everything.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind my diet. I didn't care. It could be pizza, it could be burgers, it was whatever. But 6 years ago, after completing my first Vipassana course, Vipassana is, by the way, that is Buddha's method of attaining liberation. And it's practiced very far and wide, like in countless Vipassana centers around the world. So after doing that, I became a complete vegetarian.
Okay.
Uh, no eggs, no milk either. Uh, but you see, milk and chocolate is something that I'm struggling with. So it's very hard for me to become a vegan. Like to this day, I dream about Whitaker's chocolate. Like I daydream about Whitaker's chocolate. Like I'll be sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, like, how good life would be if I just had some peanut butter Whitaker. And Marita, I actually left.
To order some from New Zealand.
I left New Zealand when they just introduced the Whitaker's milk.
Mm.
Never got to try.
Oh, they need to send some over to India. Yeah, chocolate in India is just not as good, is it?
Oh, hell no. Not at all. Not at
Mm.
all. Whitaker's the best. And anybody that flies from New Zealand or Australia, they always get me some.
Yeah,
That's all everyone wants.
yeah, it's always like that. Actually, you were saying that you're like vegetarian now, right? And there's a lot of like a lot of sports people and a lot of actors. A lot of them are vegetarian, especially a lot of the Indian ones. And they all kind of say for similar reasons, right? For health reasons or mental well-being and all of that. And it seems to be like something that a lot of people do now to cut out meat.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, even in LA, vegan.
Yeah, veganism is also really becoming popular.
Yeah. I
So,
love sorry,
what was
sorry,
that? Sorry? No, you go.
cut you off. No, I love it. I love being vegetarian. I've explored so many more on this planet ever since I turned vegetarian. It wasn't like, all right, chicken, what am I having for this? Uh, But now that I'm veg, damn, I've tried vegetables that I have never heard of in my life, and they're amazing. Like, you know?
Yeah, actually, India is a very good place to be
Mm,
vegetarian. There
I
are
was
so
just
many
gonna say
options.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Being vegetarian in New Zealand and Australia is not that easy.
Yeah.
And like I have a couple of friends that are vegan and they hardly ever eat out because they can't go to any
Yeah.
restaurants because yeah, like being vegan here is really hard and vegetarian's hard enough, but you can still kind of get by as a vegetarian, but there's not much to choose from.
yeah.
Mm. So is there anything that you want to cover that we haven't already mentioned throughout this interview?
Oh no, no, as long as you guys are happy.
Yeah, no, we are. How can people follow you on socials if they want to follow your work?
If they want to follow my work, so I have two accounts. One is my personal, and on my personal account, they're both public, but it depends on like what you want to see. Like if you want to see me, then I'm at Arman Khera, which is ArmanKhera. That's my artist page. So that has my music, that has my photos, that has all the movies and series that I've done, everything, anything to do with me, like in which I'm there, that's Arman Khera. And then Namra, which is my name, my first name spelled backwards. Now that started as a photography page. And I still put up my photographs and stuff over there. But then, so I'll explain. I'm sorry. Everything is such an explanation with me, but I have two accounts for a reason. Arman Khera. So, like, let's say if I were standing, right, and I had my name written across, like at the bottom, what you would see would be Arman, right? But what I would see would be Namra. So that's why Arman has everything, like any images of me, any footage of me, anything to do with my voice. That's what you see and that's what you hear. That's why that's all on Arman. And anything that I find beautiful, anything that I like to capture from my life, that's on Namra. And that is the yeah,
Yeah, that's
that
deep.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's quite neat.
I've had mixed reactions to that when I've had someone say, "Oh wow, that's cheesy as fuck," and I'm like, "Wow, I
Oh, that's deep. Like,
No,
actually, I like,
it shows you've put
yeah.
some thought into it, which is really good to
Uh,
see. I was actually going to ask you one thing once I mentioned the social media thing. You do a lot of photo shoots where
yeah."
you don't wear conventional male clothes. I don't really know how else to say it. What led you
Yeah,
to doing that type of modeling?
I think it's fun. You know, actually, a lot of my team, they're just so diverse in what they like. Like, so Rosh was the first person to get me comfortable with these kind of like photo shoots. And if you
Mm.
check her Rosh93 on Instagram, she is very colorful. She's very
Yes, I've looked at her page before.
yeah, she's very pro LGBTQ. She's very pro like activism, pro veganism, pro everything. You know, you'll see that she just has a very, very different eye. Like when it comes to these like photo shoots and when it comes to styling, when it comes to accessorizing, it's a very different eye. So when we met, right? She did a photo shoot for me in which I wore my clothes. And if you go down on my grid, you will see that first photo shoot we did. And I styled myself and I accessorized myself with just, you know, suggestions of what colors I should wear from Saba and Rush. And then she's like, on the next shoot, she's like, all right, Arman, now I'm gonna do the shoot my way. And boom, like I was just like, you know, dripping in I don't know what, like, you know, and I had like accessories that I'd never tried before, earrings and this and that. And when I looked at those photos, I was like, dude, I can literally rock anything. Like, you know? And she gave me that confidence. She's like, you're not gonna fucking follow like anybody else. Like you're gonna set trends. Like, so experiment and do things, do whatever you want. And because those photos were so good, everybody calls me for those photo shoots now. Like whenever they want to do something colorful, or they want to do something that like color my hair, or like weird accessories and different colors, like I get them, and I'm completely fine with them. I'm extremely straight. I'm not gay or anything. I completely accept, and I completely respect, actually, the whole LGBTQ community. Nothing against it. I personally am just, I don't swing that way. But that doesn't stop me from like from experimenting. And even if that does seem like, okay, well, he might not be straight, and yeah, it just doesn't matter. I think it's a matter of like being secure within yourself and the work you do, especially for an actor, because you're gonna have to make characters that are probably terrorists. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that's really cool to hear. Because yeah, I was going to ask you about that earlier, and then I completely forgot until we was talking about your socials. So it's a good explanation. And for anyone who maybe hasn't seen those photos, go have a look, because they're quite cool, because they're really quirky and unique, like you were saying. So thank you so much for joining us. It was such a good chat. And it was good to like finally have this conversation. I feel like if we did it 2 years ago, we wouldn't have had as much in-depth conversation, because obviously you've done a lot more work in the last 2 years. So it worked out well that it was delayed. Yeah, but thank you so much, and we wish you all the best for Galki and all your other 15 future projects that you've got coming up that you couldn't tell us about. And yeah, let us know when you've got other films and stuff coming out, and we would love to watch them. Yeah, all the best.
most definitely. Thank you so much again for that you guys over these 2 years. And honestly, this was one of the best, like, chats I've had. So thank you for that. Thank you for letting me do this today. And I'm sorry for being late.
No worries at all. And thanks for being so so cool about the questions. Your answers
No.
were amazing. Yeah, loved it.
I'll be honest, I think I told this to Harita in the beginning as well. You guys actually have very good questions. Like, I've been asked like so many questions, but when she sent me the first draft of what you guys were going to ask me, I think that's the first response I said that, Harita, these are like good questions. Like, they're not your regular questions. So keep going, guys. Straight up. You're really getting information out of people with those.
Oh,
Like,
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to look at the person as a whole rather than just some work that they do, if that makes sense. We like to ask everything about that person, as you could probably tell in the questions.
that's beautiful.
Thank you so much. See you later.
We'll see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.